Fantastic. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're joining us today. And we have several of you that are watching the recording. My name is Eric Lofholm. I'll be one of the co-presenters today. And Dr. Moine and I, we are so excited to share this information with you. We have both spent our career working with professional salespeople and people that need sales skills, sharing insights to help them become sales champions. Dr. Moine is my mentor. I regard him as the top sales mind living today. He has over $7 billion in documented sales increases in helping his clients all over the world, probably another $7 billion in undocumented increases. And he has some incredible information to share with you about mindset. The way we're going to do the training today is Dr. Moine's going to do the first half, and then I'm going to do the second half. And so we're just really, really excited to be with you. And Dr. Moine, with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Fantastic, Eric. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. As Eric said, we're welcoming all of you from around the world who are listening in, who are watching this presentation. This is one of my favorite topics because it's had the most huge impact on the lives of the people I've had the privilege of working with, my clients all over the world that I've had the privilege of working with, and that I'm working with today. And folks, it's had a gigantic impact on my life. We have an interesting challenge. Eric and I have spent full days covering this incredible topic of mindsets. As you're going to see, it touches every area of your life, not just sales. Of course, it has a huge impact on sales. And we have 1 hour today. I have only 30 minutes, so I'm going to jump right in. Let's make the best use of our time. Let's look at the first slide here, the power of mindsets. And folks, please take some notes. One of the things I've learned from the sales superstars I've worked with throughout my career, and I've had the privilege of working with some of the people identified as the best of the best. Ben Feldman, world's greatest life insurance salesman, a guy who not only made millions of dollars a year selling life insurance, but he gave away millions of dollars a year to charity. He had a huge heart in addition to a huge talent. And many, many other folks I don't have time to talk with you about now, but if you read any of my books, you know about them. Let's get into a definition of mindsets. And write this down. It's the entire mental and emotional world you have created and that you live in. Folks, we all have a mindset. Our mindset changes throughout our lives. We are born tabula rasa, which means a blank slate. And from the earliest moments, we are programmed, if you will, by folks around us, by our parents, by siblings, by loved ones, by neighbors, and of course we can't ignore the impact of television, media, Facebook, radio, music, and all the advertisers, you know, General Motors, General Foods, Coca-Cola, Apple. Everyone is vying for your attention. They're sending us literally hundreds of messages every day. Many of them are subliminal. And what are you doing to counter-program? My first question is, what are you doing to counter-program all of that programming? So we all have a mindset. You can't say, I'm not going to play this game. The only question is, what is your current mindset? It has many facets to it. And I have some great news for you folks. Almost everything about your mindset is wonderful. It's working for you. Think about what you're doing right now. You could be watching television. You could be having your second or third margarita. You could be doing lots of other things. But what are you doing? You're improving yourself. You're watching a webinar. You're learning. You're growing. The world needs more people like you. So I'm not suggesting you need to change all of your mindsets, but I'm going to give you in just a few moments an exciting roadmap for changing just a couple of parts of your mindset that might be holding you back. I'm going to empower you to do that. The second point I'm making here, your mindset totally determines your self-image. Write that down, your self-image and what you think you can or cannot do. What did your parents tell you early in your life? Johnny, you're good at this. You're not so good at that. Betty, you're really strong at doing this. You're probably never going to be very good at doing that. Our mindset determines how we see ourselves, how we see others. Part of it is our religion. It's our politics, our political party. What political party do you believe in? I'm not suggesting you change any of that. It's probably working great for you. But the first step to change, if you get a PhD in psychology, you learn this. Write this down, folks. This is a bonus idea that we're not even charging you for. The first step to change is awareness. You cannot change anything unless you're first aware of it. So if you get nothing else from this program but to become exquisitely aware of your mindsets, that will be a huge, huge breakthrough. Most of our behavior is very robotic. It's programmed. It's automatic. We tend to get up about the same time every day, eat similar foods most days, engage in similar activities. What if you changed that? What if you radically changed that? You would be a very different person. You would have a different experience in this world. People go on vacations to have different experiences, but in many cases they get up about the same time every day. The food they eat is only slightly different. They engage in similar activities and behaviors. It's amazing how much time people spend watching television in their hotel rooms or staring at their cell phones. I've been to Paris. I've been to London. I've been to Hong Kong. It's amazing to me how much time people spend in those incredible, exciting locations staring in their cell phones instead of hanging out in the little cafe down at the first floor of the 300-year-old sleazy hotel in Budapest. But that's another story. The power of mindsets. The third point, folks, your mindset determines the work you will do, how much money you will make, whom you will marry, your health habits, your level of personal happiness. They determine everything. What kind of work do you do? Most of you are in sales. You're in a field related to sales. I've worked with top lawyers, helping them to greatly expand their practices. One of my clients is a wonderful fellow here in Southern California who has what I think is the largest or second largest estate planning law practice in the state. Over 10,000 clients. He's had to hire a bunch of other attorneys. Sales is a big part of that. So what kind of sales work do you do? That may be holding you back more than anything. You can attend a lot of these webinars that Eric and I do. You can attend seminars. You can read lots of books. You can be an incredibly knowledgeable person. But if you're selling pants at the Gap, if you're working in certain kinds of retail sales, folks, you're just simply not going to be making very much money. Do you have the courage to change fields if that's what you want to do? I assume that a lot of you here want to make more money. That's a very common goal that people have. And the truth that almost no one in this field talks about, I feel like the lone messenger out there telling this truth that's so obvious to me. I've seen it so clearly over the years. I want you to think about it, folks, is that you may not be holding yourself back. It may be the very field of sales that you're in. Do the best you can do, make the most money you can make, have the most fun you can doing that, but look at some other opportunities. So your mindset determines how much money you'll make, whom you'll marry. Boy, I can do a whole program on that, and how people tend to marry people like they've married in the past, and it's absolutely amazing. Your health habits, your personal happiness, it impacts just every aspect of our lives. Let's go on to the next slide. The most exciting discovery of all. This is mind-blowing to me every time I think about it. We can change our mindsets and totally change our lives. We are not the victims of our mindsets. We can be the beneficiaries. And no one has perfect mindsets, folks. no one has perfect mindsets. We're all of us who are growth oriented are working on changing and improving and enhancing our mindsets. It's not just about making more money. That's going to be the focus of our call here today in sales. But it's also about improving our health, our personal happiness, our relationships. It all comes from our mindsets. And as important as sales scripts are, I've written a lot in my books about scripts. It's a huge part of my work, writing scripts. I've written television programs for people, infomercials. I've written scripts for major charities to raise tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a big part of my life. As important as scripts are, as important as closing techniques are, none of that will have as big an impact on your income as your mindsets. Write this down, folks. This is another bonus idea. It's the 5-star bonus idea I'm going to share with you. Your mindset is your most valuable asset. Put your hand on your heart right now. If you have a free hand, I know some of you are on Facebook. You're on your cell phone. You're on your laptop. You're on your tablet. If you have a free hand, put your right hand on your heart and tell yourself this: my mindset is my most valuable asset. It's more valuable than your house. It's more valuable than stocks. It's more valuable than your car. I don't care if you have a Rolls Royce. You know, folks, in the Great Recession we had a few years ago, I had clients who lost their houses, I had clients, unfortunately, who went bankrupt. I lost a lot of money. I lost a huge amount of money in real estate and the stock market. And the people that had the right mindsets have been able to make it all back and even more. I've had the privilege of helping some of those people through those very, very difficult periods. And I went through that myself, so I know what it's like. I know what it takes to change that mindset. We have the power to do that. We're not the victim of the mindset. It's not permanent. It's constantly changing if we first become aware of it and then figure out exactly what parts we want to change. And then I'll give you the tools to change them. It's so exciting. Let's go on to the next slide. How to change your mindsets. Here's my power question number 1. What do you want to do or be? What do you want to do or be? One of the most valuable things you can do today, and almost any day, is to ask yourself that question. What do I want to do with my life? Who do I want to be? You want to become crystal clear on that. It's going to change over time. Hopefully it's not going to be static. I know it's changed for me many times in my life. At one point, I thought I wanted to be a college professor. I did everything I needed to do that, and I taught some college courses at a major university, and figured out that wasn't my calling. I was interested in other things. It's a great calling, and I thought I wanted to be a clinical psychologist and help people solve their problems, and I did that for a few years, and I was very good at it, and I had people that wanted me to join their practice, but I couldn't see myself sitting in a chair talking to people about their problems for the next 30 years of my life. And I've always been interested in business. I worked my way through 10 years of college as a salesman. And I figured out a way to combine my psychology PhD and background with working with sales superstars who are selling all the products and services of America and the great countries around the world. And it's been a very exciting, challenging, crazy career. And Eric is continuing this great work. Eric he's not a psychologist, but I call Eric a street psychologist. I'm going to hereby give you, Eric, an honorary PhD in psychology. And you want to ask yourself, be your own psychologist, ask yourself that question. What do I want to do or be? And probably the most important question of all, maybe in life, is power question number 2. What is holding me back? What is stopping me from doing this? Folks, one of the most convenient things to do, one of the easiest things to do, is to blame some of this on outside circumstances or other people. My spouse is holding me back. Certain external conditions are holding me back. My bills, my debts. I'm too insecure. I'm not in a position now to change jobs or, I realize that there are a myriad of factors that impact all of our lives. Life is full of surprises. We have setbacks. We have challenges. It's not smooth. It's not easy. Anyone who pretends that it's easy, sometimes I see these seminars, life is fun and easy. They're worded in different ways, but that's the message. It's not been my experience. I've worked for some very large Fortune 500 companies, and I have a saying, the bigger the company, the bigger the problems. They all need help. The biggest companies need help. And the executives, we have many executives in those companies on the line right now on this webinar. That's true. The bigger the opportunities also. And the bigger the person sometimes, the bigger the problems. I worked for, Donald Trump's been in the news a lot, and I was hired by Trump University to train their real estate speakers. And a few years before that, Donald Trump, who's famous for being a billionaire, his net worth was a negative $1 billion because that was during the New York real estate crash. And the mortgages on his properties were worth $1 billion more than the value of the properties. But he was able to pull himself out of that. So we don't want to take the easy path of just blaming it on outside circumstances. It may take a while to get out of this, but I guarantee you can get out of it. There is hope, especially if you know how to reprogram your mindsets. You can turbocharge your success and go much faster with much more certainty, with guarantees that you can't have otherwise. Here are the techniques. You want to use hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming, self-program, and action challenges to change your mindsets and become the person you want to be. Obviously, I don't have time to go into all of those, but I encourage you to do some research online. There's lots of resources. Read books, read articles, go to programs in these areas. Seek out coaches, seek out guides. These are the areas that I work in, that Eric works in. There are other great people who work in these areas. A lot of them Eric and I have trained. I've trained a couple of hundred other coaches and consultants over my career. I consider Eric my top student when it comes to most of the areas of psychology. So I encourage you to stay with Eric's programs, use him. My contact information's there. You can feel free to email me. I may not be able to answer all the emails immediately, but I'm happy to help when I can. Let's talk about a couple of specifics before I turn the reins back over to Eric. One of the things that Eric mentioned in his email is sales slumps. I'm going to speak to you about this subject because it's something that all of us have had to deal with. No one, I don't care. I've worked with a lot of superstars, folks, in real estate and many, many other fields. No one's career is on a constant ascent. There are always dark, stormy nights. There are always challenges. There are always periods where you have setbacks, where a competitor comes in maybe with a better product, lower prices, a new hotshot comes in and threatens what you're doing, or there's just market setbacks, changes in market conditions. Stock market declines precipitously, real estate declines if you happen to be in that field, technology changes if you're in high technology. Let me share with you what you can do to change your mindset when you have a sales slump. First of all, become aware of the sales slump. Become aware of how you're thinking, of how you're living your life, of everything you're doing. This is part of your mindset. It's a very, very big part of your mindset, your world view. And it's easy to become depressed when you're in one of these sales slumps. Resist the urge unless there's a medical reason, but resist the urge to take an antidepressant or take a Prozac or whatever it might be, unless there's a medical need. And then in that case, follow your doctor's advice. I'm not trying to give you medical advice here. You can be very productive even if you take those medicines. But it's my personal belief it's always best to solve reality-based problems in reality. Here's what I do, and I've helped so many people break out of sales slumps, and I've used this myself. You want to remember, go back and recreate. There's a technique I've written about, and I have a whole detailed process I go through with my clients called hypnotic revivification. I'm going to just simplify it here for you. Folks, what it means is reliving in exquisite, exciting detail a day in your life where no one could turn you down. We've all had those days. If you've been in sales for any time at all, you've had days where almost everyone buys from you. Almost everyone finds what you have to say to be totally mesmerizing, fascinating. They want to keep listening to you. They want to invite you to dinner. Think back to one of those days where you were so hot in sales. Now think back to everything you did, the clothing you wore, the food you ate, the music you listened to, what time you went to bed at night, what TV shows you watched or didn't watch, what books you read or didn't read. What was programming your mind? What was going into that? Write this down in your notes, folks. This is what Dr. Moine calls your personal recipe for success. It's your personal strategy for success. And don't overlook any detail. As I said, write down what time you got up in the morning. When you were a sales champion, were you getting up 30 minutes early? Write down how much exercise you were getting, the clothes you were wearing. I know some people make fun of this, but great athletes, they have their lucky rabbit's foot. They have a lucky jersey that they keep wearing over and over and over again. They have certain tennis shoes that they wear, or sports shoes, or athletic shoes, or skate shoes if they're skaters. Folks, you may have that magic $200 tie. You may have that magic suit, or that magic dress. All of this goes into your total mindset, your total worldview that creates your personal recipe for success. Well, what I do using neurolinguistic programming, hypnotic revivification, some other techniques, is I help people relive those moments of greatness, and we anchor them into the present. It's so powerful. It's so exciting. You can do this yourself, folks. You can at least start the process and recapture all the elements that made you as great as you deserve to be. You can do that today. I want to share with you just a couple of real quick stories and turn this back over to Eric here in just a couple of minutes. One of my clients this weekend is doing something he's never done before. I was able to help him reprogram his mindset, and he's exhibiting at a trade show. In his field and his business, no one ever does that. But he's one of the first, and he's really excited. He just sent me an email this morning. He already got a very large sale from doing this. He thought it was impossible. And folks, what do you think is impossible? What do you think is, I call these your 4-minute mile barriers. In 1953, Roger Bannister became the first man to break a 4-minute mile in running. Made the cover of Time magazine. It was huge news. Some medical doctors had previously written articles saying it's impossible for a man to run a mile in less than 4 minutes because it will damage his heart and other organs of the body. So people were running 411 miles, 407 miles, 403 miles, 405 miles. When Roger Bannister did it, the next year, 11 other people broke the 4-minute mile barrier. Folks, it was a mental limit. It was a mindset limit. It was not a limit in reality. So what are your, write this down as your homework. I want to leave you with this fun little homework assignment. What do you think is impossible for you to do? Selling how much is impossible? What is your income number? Now, obviously, maybe making $10 million a year. I've had a few clients who have done that. But for most of us, I've never made $10 million a year. It seems impossible. So I want you to be realistic. We want to set a stretch goal here. and do some research, continue to do your studies, listen to the great material Eric is going to share with you. And folks, you are going to be able to accomplish, I guarantee you, I promise you, if you dig deeper into this subject of mindsets, you will be able to accomplish some things that you currently think of as impossible. These are your own 4-minute mile barriers. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Eric. And folks, I want to say something right now. Eric set up a challenge for me. We talked to a few moments ago about action challenges. And I don't have time to go into it in detail here, except to say that I just accomplished one of them myself. I had to change my mindset entirely to learn how to do webinars, because I have a lot of skills in life, writing scripts, building. I help companies build sales teams, build very powerful sales teams. I work with sales superstars, but I'm not good in everything. And technology is one of the areas I'm old school in that way. I like talking to people face to face. I work on the phone with clients around the world and on the internet. But Eric has gotten me into doing webinars. My challenge today was to do this in 30 minutes, because the timing is very challenging for me, to keep it brief. So I think I did that, and with that, I want to thank you, Eric. I want to thank all of you, my friends around the world. And Eric, the program is back in your very capable hands.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Moine. And let me get the controls over to me. Show my screen. And while we're doing this webinar, there's a whole conversation that's happening on Facebook right now. So if you have a Facebook account, I want to encourage and invite you to go to facebook.com/groups/ELI for Eric Lofholm International Sales Champion. Go join the group, and there's a thing called a pinned post. And that's a post that appears at the top of the Facebook group. And you can comment on the best ideas that you're learning. And that's really neat what Dr. Moine just shared there as he was finishing up his points to make about technology. Because the thing about mindsets is that sometimes, let me just plug my computer in here. Sometimes it's a single mindset that shifts and your whole world changes. And so in sales, one of the challenges that we face is, you're probably good at communication skills if you're in sales or you're in business, and you've been doing business a certain way, many of you for many, many years, and maybe you haven't done webinars, or maybe you haven't done online scheduling. So when somebody wants to book an appointment with me now, I just send them a link to my calendar, and they just click on it and they book themselves instead of contacting me, although they can do that too. I had to shift my mindset, because for years, the way I had always done it was, if you wanted to book an appointment with me, you would call me or call my assistant or email me, and we'd play email tag or phone tag to book the appointment. And the thing about us as human beings is we do things the way that we tend to do things the way we've always done them. And there's this classic story about this husband and wife, and when she cooks this roast for dinner, she cuts the ends of the roast off, and this has been going on for a couple years. And one day the husband says to the wife, honey, you make this wonderful roast, and every time you do it, you cut the ends of the roast off. Why do you do that? And she says, well, that's how my mom taught me to do it. And he said, oh, okay. And he didn't really think much of it. And then it was a holiday like Thanksgiving, and they were over at the mother-in-law's house, and he remembered about the roast, and he said, your daughter makes this great roast, and she always cuts the ends of the roast off. And she says, that's how you taught her to do it. What's the reasoning behind it? And she goes, well, I don't know. That's how my mom taught me to do it. So now he's like really curious. And fortunately, grandma was still alive, and they get grandma on the phone, and I'm here with your daughter and your granddaughter, and they cut the ends of the roast off. And, you taught your daughter, who taught my wife, why did you teach her to do it that way? And she said, well, when I was growing up, the ovens were much smaller. So to fit the roast in the oven, you had to cut the ends of the roast off. And it's a funny story. It's a classic story, but it's so how we are as human beings. If you start looking at why do you do what you do, a lot of why you do what you do is because that's how you've always done it. And to do something new requires a shift in mindset. So, I usually do an hour of content, and today I wanted you to hear from Dr. Moine and from me. So I'm going to do today's webinar a little differently than how I usually do it. I want to spend less time on the points, but I'm going to cover more points. So it's kind of like rapid fire mindset ideas to get your brain firing off to see if I can land one for you. If I can land one game-changing mindset for you, and some of these, I don't have time to fully go into it. I mean, I could spend an hour on just one idea like technology mindset. But what I want to do today is just rapid fire. I've got several free offers for you, and I've got one offer where you can work with me in a mentoring relationship, and I'll tell you all about that at the end of the webinar. So this is the last time I'll mention this. This is the Facebook group. Now, if you're watching the recording of this, and we'll have people watching the recording of this probably for the next 10 years, go ahead and join the Facebook group and comment in there on the best ideas that you're learning. And a bunch of you just joined the Facebook group, so go in there and get active and share what you're learning. Now, you may have never joined a Facebook group before, or maybe you have, and maybe you've never commented. So just try something new. That's part of what I want to teach you today, is to try something new. All right, this is huge, guys. I, like Dr. Moine, do a lot of one-on-one coaching. And here's my experience coaching people for the last 17 years. Listen to what I'm telling you. The number one thing that holds people back is self-esteem. I get on the phone with client after client after client, and when they look in the mirror, they're not seeing how awesome they are. So the mindset is for you to accept that you're a genius. Now, when you tell yourself that right now, say, I'm a genius. Notice what your little voice in the back of your head tells you. Dr. Moine taught me, you have a voice in the back of your head. It speaks to you up to 500 words a minute. So your voice goes, you're not a genius. What are you talking about? That's commonly what your voice might tell you. Or maybe your voice did accept it and go, well, of course you're a genius. I didn't used to accept my genius. I used to have a mindset that I was average and ordinary. And now I have a mindset that I'm extraordinary. But I had to shift that thinking. So it's not that you're a genius at everything, because that's not true. But there are aspects of you that are genius, and maybe no one's ever told you that before. Maybe your mom or dad or your manager or your friends or your spouse or whatnot, maybe they didn't tell you what a genius you are, but that doesn't change the fact that there are aspects of you that are genius. You have natural gifting. Every one of you listening has natural gifting. That's a mindset, by the way. So I accept my natural gifting and I step into my power just like I am right now in this moment, delivering powerfully to you to step into my power because I accept my genius and I invite you to accept your genius. This is a webinar you're probably going to want to watch multiple times, and I'll be sending the recording out to all of you so you can do that. Rapid fire. Are you running enough presentations right now? It's a yes or a no. Is there room for improvement for you in your sales presentation? Are you making enough prospecting calls right now? Are you following up at the level that you need to? And if the answer is no for any or several of these or all of these, the good news is that means there's a lot of room for you to improve and to get better and to become more successful, make more money, become more confident. Success is a choice. That's a mindset. Every one of you watching this right now has potential inside of you to perform at a higher level. This is why coaching is so important. Without my mentors, I'm not pouring into you right now because I needed them to pull out my greatness. So there's something far beyond what you're currently producing that's inside of you right now. And I want you to know that. Just briefly about myself, a lot of you are familiar with me, you're clients of mine, but maybe you're watching this live or the recording, and this is the first time you've ever gotten introduced to me. I've been in commission sales for 22 years. I've been training people professionally for the last 17 years. I've done over 3,000 conference calls, webinars like this, front of the room presentations, speeches. I've authored 10 books. And the first main book I wrote on the upper left-hand corner there, The System, it took me 10 years to write that book because I did not view myself as a successful author. And here's what I thought to myself. If I put that book out, I'll be a successful author. And I'm like, that's not who I am. So I kept, quote unquote, procrastinating. The reason I was procrastinating is it didn't sync up with my mental picture of myself. That is your self-image. The good news is you can change your self-image. We have an unconscious mind that drives our behavior. So there's certain things you do without even thinking about it. You have habits. There are certain things you do. Your self-image is how you view yourself. So if you go from, for me, if I go from average and ordinary to now thinking that I'm the top sales trainer on the planet, if I change from I'm average and ordinary to now I in my mind, for my generation, I'm the top sales trainer on the planet, my actions change. Change your self-image, your actions change, and I want you to know it's possible because I've done it. And you can do it too. I live in Rockland, California, and this is my family. I have 4 children, my wife Heather. And I'm here today. I'm working from home in my home office right now, delivering this message to all of you. Now, there's going to be some free offers on today's webinar. The first free offer is I would love to send you my notes on all of my mindsets that I'm going to teach you today. If you'd like to get a copy of the notes, and this is good if you're watching live or the recording, you're going to send me an email right now to wins, W-I-N-S, at ericlofholm.com. Make sure you spell it correctly. It's right there on the screen. Put May 7th, that's today's date, in the subject line. That way I know to get you the May 7th, 2016 notes. Even if you're watching this in the future, you still put in May 7th. Include your name and phone number in the body of the email. Now, I'd also like to offer you a free coaching session with one of my sales coaches. And we can coach you on a lot of different aspects of selling. But here's a few. Sales scripting. One of my coaches is an expert in script writing, so he'll work with you for a half an hour on your sales script, or sales techniques, or sales mindset, today's topic. Or I have one of my coaches, he's a network marketing coach if you're in network marketing. So while you're requesting the notes, if you'd like to request a free coaching session with one caveat, this is good for everyone that's not currently working with one of my coaches. Because if you're already working with one of my coaches, this is like an introductory offer. So if you're not working with one of my coaches, which is most of you, while you're requesting the notes, just add in there, I like a free coaching session on whatever topic you'd like. And if it's not one of those topics, just put general. So you email wins@ericlofholm.com, or you can make the same request by texting 916-626-1945, 916-626-1945. And if you'd like to do that, just go ahead and do that right now. And then when our session's done in a little bit, I'll send you over the notes. Okay, next mindset, mentors. And it's not just the idea of mentors, it's the idea of also being coachable. So I have mentors in my life. My sales mentor is the one who just shared with you, Dr. Donald Moine. He's been my mentor for over 21 years. And so he has shared with me different things that I listen differently to him than most people because I view him as a mentor. So I want him to shape me in his thinking. So with a mentor, my mindset, I hear it differently when my mentor shares with me. And this has been key for me going from a former cook at McDonald's to a best-selling author and all the things that I'm up to in the world. Okay, another one of my mentors is Jay Abraham. So Jay's been a mentor for about 5 years. When Jay shares something with me, I do my absolute best to really hear what he's telling me and to be coachable. Okay, another one of my mentors, Les Brown. So Les shares something with me. I do my best to really listen. What is he telling me? You know, how is it that what's his vision to assist me? So it's a different kind of relationship with a mentor. All right, this one, guys, is huge. I was thinking about what are the mindsets that could make the biggest difference for you? Like just absolutely move the needle and make the biggest difference for you. And this is one of them. Take action in the face of resistance. I was on the phone today with a client, and I think she's actually on the webinar right now. And she's somebody who wants to do public speaking. Her natural gifting is teaching. And so I've been encouraging her to bring out that side of her in her business, to go out and do public speaking, webinars like what we're doing right now, coaching. And she knows in her heart that that's part of her purpose, but she has resistance. Now, what's the resistance? Well, the resistance is, one, it's something new. And we tend to resist what's new and different, even if it's in our greatest good. And then the other problem that comes up about public speaking is there can be a thought in our mind, well, who am I to public speak? Who am I to be a coach? Who am I to, And so a lot of speakers struggle with that. I know I did when I launched my career 17 years ago. So here's the deal, guys. This is not a conversation about public speaking. This is a conversation about resistance. So you imagine a better life for yourself. And you're like, okay, if I wrote this book, I'd have a better life. Or if I started doing more consistent prospecting, or if I went after larger accounts, or if I did public speaking, or if I want to be married or have a special significant other in my life, but I got burned on my last relationship. So I'm fearful to put myself out there, but I want it, okay? So we face resistance. And my experience is this. Most people don't take action in the face of resistance because they're waiting for the resistance to go away. And here's the problem. My experience is it doesn't go away in most cases until you actually do it. How does resistance for public speaking go away? It goes away by you doing it. So once you do it, you break through it. Like Dr. Moine was sharing about webinars. Now he's doing webinars. He broke through it. He can do a webinar anytime now. No, just piece of cake, no problem. So when we have the resistance, the quote from Thoreau is, once the mind expands, it will never return to its original size. So the mindset is you take action in the face of resistance. That will change your life. And it's not like I've mastered this, so I no longer have resistance. No, and I don't even know that I've mastered it, but what I'm good at taking action in the face of resistance. Because I'm not looking for the resistance to go away before I take action. That's a game changer right there. In 2008, my business collapsed. It went on life support because of the global economy. The things that were working for me in business stopped working. And I had a conversation with God. Now, I'm not going to suggest that I started talking to God and God started talking back to me. I'm not going to suggest that. All I know is And this isn't a spiritual conversation. I'm just telling you what happened in my life, okay? My business is on life support, and I'm afraid, and I'm panicked, and I'm worried. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So I'm just like, God, how am I supposed to grow my business in this economy? And I got a one-word answer: collaboration. And so that shifted my mindset. I started looking from that thought that came into my mind. I started looking for, how do I build my business with collaboration? So like this webinar. This webinar was Dr. Moine and I team teaching. And I also asked many people to promote the webinar. So this webinar was created not by me. It was created by a collaboration of effort from others through the promotion of it and through Dr. Moine and I team teaching. Some of you may resonate with thinking of yourself as like a lone ranger. You kind of tend to do things by yourself. So I'm just sharing with you one of the greatest mindset shifts that have ever happened in my life is when I made the decision to start looking at things from the viewpoint of collaboration. Your brain will answer virtually any question you ask yourself. So you can ask yourself the question, like, who could I collaborate with? Or what would collaboration look like in my business? And your brain will start answering it. All right, I got another free thing for you. So I regularly speak to sales teams and network marketing teams at their weekly or monthly meetings. If it's in Sacramento, I do it, I'll show up to the location. If they're out of the area, I'll do a conference call or webinar. I have an extraordinary course on time management that you'll absolutely love. And you do it right over your computer. And I'd love to send you the course for free. So here's the deal. You send me a referral of a company. It could be your company. Or it could be a company that you can refer me into. I'm looking for the contact information, the decision maker, if you have it. If you don't, that's okay. You send me a referral via email to wins@lofholm.com. I will then send you the time management course back via email. That's what I'm offering. And if you're watching the recording of this, it's good for you too. And you'll love the course. And then with that referral, I'm going to just offer to do a free webinar at one of their sales meetings or one of their network marketing meetings or a conference call or front of their speech if it's in Sacramento. Okay? So that's your second fun little offer for our webinar today. All right, this one is huge because this is where we're at in business. Okay, technology is a part of business now, and we can no longer say, "Well, I'm an offline guy," or I talk to people over the phone, or I meet with them face to face. Of course you do, okay, but technology is here to stay. This webinar that you're on right now, years ago, I was totally resistant to webinars because I'm like, well, I just go meet with people face to face, or I speak at their office, or I talk to them over the phone. And then I recognized if I want to reach people, I've got to embrace this technology. So now I use online scheduling. Now I use software. Now I use all kinds of technology tools. And sometimes I'll work with a client and they'll be like, well, I'm not good with technology. That's a mindset. Okay? So embrace technology. This is Kevin Hudaba here, one of my clients. He's a real estate agent. My systems work in any industry. And Kevin has really embraced technology and he started doing video email marketing. So he's a real estate agent. He meets you. He'll put you in the database. And then he drip markets to you via email, sending out videos. That's one of many things that Kevin does. 2 years ago, Kevin made about $125,000 as a real estate agent. Last year, with my help, he made $205,000. And his goal this year is to go over $400,000. Okay, so when we're talking about these ideas, Dr. Moine and I, we are elite sales coaches at the highest level of coaching. Okay. So we're talking about big money. We're talking about changing your life. This isn't about incremental improvement. This is about you stepping into your greatness. And that's what Kevin Hudaba is doing right now, embracing technology. If you are a part of a company, you guys have a sales force, big or small, and you're doing $1 million or more a year in revenue. If you'd like to learn how I can help you, where I would personally come in and work with you on whether it's the sales scripts or the sales culture or sales mindset or sales strategy, I would love to offer to do a free consultation with your company. So if you're doing $1 million or more and you want me to work with your entire sales force, no matter how big or small they are, send me an email, wins@ericlofholm.com, and I will happily do a free consultation and talk with whoever the person would be in your company to have that conversation. I had a conversation earlier this week with a company. They're doing $100 million in annual revenue. They want to go to the next level. And so I love bringing my ideas in and sharing it with how to help a company go to their next level. Here's your next mindset. Selling equals service. Selling is about helping people. So you just embrace this idea. This is what selling is. In our culture, there's a stigma to sales. Our culture teaches selling as arm twisting, high pressure, manipulation, selfish, used car sales. That's a mindset. It does not serve you. I get that culture teaches that, but it doesn't help you. So sometimes we've got to go against what the culture is teaching. Because in this case, the culture's wrong in terms of helping you. So just because a group of people believe something doesn't make it an effective, healthy mindset. So reject selling as arm twisting, high pressure manipulation. That mindset does not serve you. Embrace selling equals service. One of the most important skill sets of today is prioritizing. Because we live in an over-communicated world. You're receiving more messages on a daily basis than you ever have. With email, with social media, with advertising, just your smartphone, just trying to keep up with daily life. And it can be overwhelming. So the skill set of today, a huge one of your most important skill sets, this is a mindset, by the way, one of your most important skill sets is prioritizing. And if you want to make more money, focus on revenue producing activities. Embracing sales, we talked about this a little bit ago. Instead of resisting sales, I want you to embrace sales. If you're in network marketing, here's the mindset I hear all the time. I'm on a coaching call with a network marketing client. And I go, tell me about recruiting. And they go, oh, Eric, I'm not good at recruiting. Well, what? What do you mean you're not good at recruiting? It's their mindset, okay? The whole business of network marketing, if you're trying to actually, earn a significant income, you kind of have to shift your mindset and embrace recruiting. Now, if you have resistance to recruiting, it's not your fault. You're just doing the best you can. That's why coaching's so important. So if I'm coaching with Dr. Moine and I have a certain mindset that's holding me back, and I get on the phone with him and I'm sharing with him about what's going on, and he might say, well, Eric, why don't you look at it in this way? And I can literally take off a sport coat and the sport coat of whatever my old belief system is or mindset, and I can put on the new sport coat. And that's why coaching is so important. Because when somebody that you respect shares a way of thinking, it can make a huge difference in your belief, in your mindset. Embrace consistent prospecting. So some of you are like, well, I don't like the phone, I don't like prospecting, but yet you need prospecting in your business. So explore in your mind, what are your prospecting beliefs? Embrace consistent prospecting. So this is one of my clients. This is Angie Comer. Angie might be watching right now. Angie's out of South Carolina, and she's in network marketing. And so I've been working with Angie on 10 prospecting touches per day. So she's prospecting, whether it's a phone call, a text, a direct message over social media, or an email. And what I've been teaching her is 10 a day, 10 a day. And in her particular business, if she does 10 a day, then many people on her team will follow her lead. So 10 a day for her might mean 50 with the rest of her team as they model what she's doing. So I'm teaching her the mindset of consistent prospecting. Embracing sales scripting. So this was my first major breakthrough when I started working with Dr. Moine 20 years ago, is he taught me this whole idea of sales scripting. And it wasn't that I was resistant to it. I just never heard of it before. And so once it was explained to me, I fell in love with the idea. So we don't have time today to go deep on scripting. I'm just rapid fire. We're almost done with the webinar, and I want to give you several more ideas. Mike Irwin, he does college planning. That's why the pennants are in the background. And Mike has almost scripted out his entire sales process, which includes a workshop, 3 initial presentations to sell college planning, and then 3 additional presentations selling financial services. So it's actually 7 presentations, and he has almost scripted it out. And I believe that Mike's financial future is secure because he's embracing the idea of scripting out the process, these 7 presentations. And once that's all scripted out, once it's done, it's done. So this is Mike's one of my clients. I'm going to give you an opportunity to become a client in just a little bit. $50 a month is what I'm going to present to you. It's a total no-brainer, okay? If you're resonating with this webinar, you need to sign up and join my group coaching program, and it's going to change your life. And Mike's one of my clients. It's changing his life. This is a quote from Napoleon Hill. I have said this quote hundreds of times. With every adversity, there's a seed of equal or greater benefit. With every adversity, there's a seed of equal or greater benefit. I had an adversity just this week, and I was bummed. I was so bummed about it. I'm just like, oh, man. And it was just something that was just, I was wrestling in my mind, and it was hard. And I just told myself, with every adversity, there's a seed of equal or greater benefit. All of a sudden, I started feeling better. It's one of the greatest quotes ever. So when you're up against adversity, just tell yourself, with every adversity, there's a seed of equal or greater benefit. Repetitions. I believe this. Every time you deliver a sales presentation, you get a little bit better. Every time you prospect, you get a little bit better. If you're a coach, every coaching session you do, you get a little bit better. Right now, we're doing a webinar. Every webinar I do, I get a little bit better. So when I deliver a sales call, I'm not just thinking about closing the sale. I want to make the sale if the prospect's qualified and my product or service will truly help them. But I also know that there's a value to me delivering that presentation even if nobody buys. Because I understand the mindset and the power of repetitions. Long-term goals. This is a mindset. One of the characteristics of highly successful people is they're long-term strategic planners. My son Brandon is 13 years old and he plays basketball. And we regularly go down to the gym at 6:15 in the morning before school starts, and we work on his dribbling, his free throws, his three-pointers, etc. Why does he do that? Why would try to get your 13-year-old up an hour before they need to on a school day? See how that works out. And I don't get him up. He gets himself up because I only take him to the gym if he wants to go. But why does he want to go? Because he sees himself playing college basketball. My son believes he might play in the NBA. Now, is that realistic that he's going to play in the NBA? No, but it's possible. So in our household, we believe in possibility thinking. So long-term goals. I'm going to wrap with this idea, and then I'm going to extend an invitation for you to work with me for $50 a month, and I want you to take action and let me help you. And I guarantee the program is going to help you, and I'll tell you about the guarantee in just a moment. One of the mindsets that stops people is, it's not perfect, Eric, so I can't do it. So here's the mindset. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I want to tell you a story about a husband-wife team. They're coaching clients of mine, Brett and Sherry Miller. And I was coaching Brett to do webinars to sell his $4,000 product. And so we do a coaching session, and I said, okay, I want you to do a webinar to sell your product before we speak next. He's like, okay. So then we'd get on the coaching session. I go, Brett, did you do the webinar? And he goes, no. All right, well, between now and our next coaching session, I want you to do a webinar to sell your product. And we get on the next coaching session, and he didn't do it. And this went on for a while. So I finally said to him, I said, what is it? I mean, you believe in the strategy, right? He goes, yeah. I said, well, why aren't you doing it? And he said, well, my webinar is not, my PowerPoint slides aren't perfect enough. It's not perfect enough yet. And I said, Brett, it doesn't have to be perfect. I said, I want you just to do the strategy and let go of the need for it to be perfect. And he goes, okay, Eric, I'll do it. So then he did it. And this past December, a few months ago, they had their best month ever in over 10 years of business. Last year, gross sales were up over 60,000 over the year before. That was directly related to them following coaching, following the strategies that were being taught, and being willing to change their mindset. And see, Brett and Sherry's story can be your story. Mike Irwin, the college planner, can be your story. Angie Comer, who's doing the consistent prospecting, can be your story. Kevin Hudaba, who made an extra 80,000 last year. That could be your story. You see, when you get the proper coaching, it's a game changer in your life. And Eric Lofholm International, we're a sales coaching company. And I know you're capable of more, and I want to help you. And I want to make this incredibly affordable for you. So what I'd like to do is simply extend an invitation for you to join my program called the Unstoppable Selling System, otherwise known as the Silver Protege Program. And this invitation is for all of you that are watching live and those of you that are watching the recording. And what I put together, it's a total no-brainer. The investment in the program is $1,295 for a year of professional sales training and coaching. Now, one of the things I'm known for is an irresistible offer. And I'm going to make you an irresistible offer right now. Now, just so you understand the pricing, because I'm going to make the pricing so darn low. And I want to just explain it so you understand, well, how could Eric do it for that little and give me that much value? And it goes like this. There's an app out there. It's a game app called Angry Birds. You might have heard of it. It's a very popular game. And you can buy the app for 99 cents. And it's like a really fun game. And you can play it like for the rest of your life for 99 cents. And like a good video game costs, usually about $40. So why would they sell you a video game that's normally $40 for 99 cents? And the answer is they make up for it on volume. They make up for it on volume. And so I'm going to offer you some incredibly special pricing. And the only way I'm able to do this is because of the number of students that I train. Now, if I was to teach you what I'm going to offer you here in just a moment, one-on-one, say, okay, I'm going to teach you this program. I'd have to charge you $5,000 because of the amount of time I'd have to spend. But what I've done is I've put it together in a system so you can learn the whole system in self-study. So you don't have to come to me one-on-one and get the next lesson. You can do it all in self-study. And by doing it and training as many people as I train and leveraging technology and being really smart about it, I can give it to you almost for free. So the way we train you is I do a live group call once a week, and that's for motivation and skill building. And that call, if you can't make it, I record it. So I send you the recording and you can listen whenever it's convenient. So anytime you want to plug into my energy, you can listen to that call live or the recording. And then coming up on June 17th, I'm doing a one-day seminar. And it's virtual, just like today's training. So you can train with me right over your computer for an entire day. And if you're watching the recording this, and June 17th is already come and gone, we do this once a quarter. So when you sign up today, you can come to my one-day classes anytime you want. That's all included in your membership. So we teach the same class. We teach it once a quarter. Then my whole system is in the membership website. And honestly, it's been blood, sweat, and tears. Okay. I started this curriculum in 2003 and I've perfected it. And all of this awesome content is in the membership website in professionally recorded modules. And so you go in and self-study, you learn my entire system just like I was coaching you one-on-one. We also have a Facebook group with over 1,000 members, people that you can share ideas with and collaborate with. And then number 5, there's certification. And what that means is you can actually take a test online based on my content. And that's to help give you an accountability to make sure you implement and study what it is that I'm teaching you. In the program, you're going to learn my whole system, how to generate leads. I believe in multiple lead generation systems online and offline. I'm going to teach you how to set unlimited appointments. I'm going to teach you step-by-step how to close. I'm going to teach you my entire system for handling every objection. You're going to learn the entire Eric Lofholm sales system. When you sign up today, I'm going to upgrade your membership to a lifetime membership. So what that means is it's like joining a sales training club. You're going to pay one time, a tiny, tiny investment. And you can train with me for as long as you want with no additional fees or dues. There's no risk. I guarantee the program is going to help you. I'm going to give you full access to the entire program. You can get started for as little as $50 today. It's a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. So you're going to put $50 on a credit card or debit card, Visa, American Express, MasterCard, or Discover. And if for any reason you don't love the program in the first 30 days, then I will give you a full refund. So here's the offer. It's either a one-time payment of $299 for a lifetime of professional sales training, or it's 8 payments of $50. Now, the only way I can do this is because I train so many people, so I make up for it in volume, and I'm really smart about technology. Otherwise, I could never do it. I'd have to charge you $5,000 to teach you this one-on-one, and I can do it a lifetime of training for $299 or 8 payments of $50. The way you're going to register is you're going to go to silverprotege.com, and when you go there, it's not going to have this offer up there. So you've got to hit the order button. When you hit the order button, it'll take you to a checkout page, and before you put in your credit card, it'll give you the correct pricing. So you won't put your credit card in until you see $299 or 8 payments of $50. So it's either $299 or $50 today and then $50 a month for the next 7 months. It's not both. It's one or the other. You can also order by calling or texting 916-626-1945. So you can just call or text that number right now. Say, I want in on the program. This is good for everybody watching live or watching the recording. And what we're going to do is this special is going to be good for the next 24 hours. We're going to give you this special pricing, and that's going to be on the honesty policy for those of you watching the recording. Now, I want to do something extra special for everybody that takes immediate action, because you know if you want to sign up right now or not. So when you sign up right now, do it the next 10 minutes on the honesty policy, and I'm going to include in, it's a little over 5 hours of training. And I'm going to actually send you physical CDs. I'm going to mail them to you at my cost when you sign up in the next 10 minutes. And that's the webpage to order, silverprotege.com, or call or text 916-626-1945. We're going to wrap up here in just a little bit. I have a couple of final closing thoughts for all of you. The first is I want to acknowledge you for investing this time in yourself to better your skills. I want to encourage you to take action on the best ideas that you learned. I want to encourage you to go sign up right now. This is a no-brainer because you make one extra sale and you're going to recover your investment. Kevin Hudema last year made an additional $80,000. That's in year one. I've transferred a skill set over to Kim that he now has for the rest of his life. No different than Dr. Moine, when he mentored me, he transferred a skill set over to me that I now have for the rest of my life. I know that you know that you're capable of more because you're on this webinar live or the recording. And this is going to help you. There's no risk. So if you're on the fence, like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Just do it. Just take action, do it. Because it's got a 30-day written money-back guarantee. So you have absolutely no risk. And you take immediate action, and I'm going to throw in that bonus CD set for taking immediate action. That is going to wrap our webinar. I'm thrilled that you made the decision to join me today and join Dr. Moine. I know, because I was on the webinar, that between what Dr. Moine and I both shared, we delivered today in a big way for you. So I'm proud of the quality of the content that we just delivered to you for free to make an investment in you. You know, we took time out on a Saturday to make an investment in you. And I'm proud of what we delivered and what we produced. That's going to wrap up the webinar. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.